Ever wondered where the legendary wealth of ancient kings like Mansa Musa actually came from? It wasn't just magic, it was gold. A river of gold, flowing not through water, but across the vast, sun-scorched landscapes of Africa. Today, we're unearthing the incredible story of Africa's ancient gold trade routes, the hidden highways that shaped empires, built cities, and connected continents long before we thought possible. Forget what you think you know about ancient history. For centuries, the heart of the world's gold supply wasn't in the Americas or Asia, but right in West Africa. We're talking about a region so rich in gold that it was said to grow like carrots in the ground. The primary sources were the Bambuk, Bura, and Akan gold fields, located in modern-day Senegal, Guinea, and Ghana. These weren't massive industrial mines. Instead, local communities practiced alluvial mining, panning for gold dust and nuggets in riverbeds, or digging shallow pits to extract the precious metal. This was the source, the very fountainhead of a trade network that would stretch for thousands of miles. But how did this gold travel from a remote riverbed in West Africa to the courts of European kings and the treasuries of Middle Eastern caliphs? The answer lies with one of the most remarkable feats of human endurance and logistics, the trans-Saharan trade. The key players? The Berbers and Tuareg people, the undisputed masters of the desert. They navigated the sand sea using the stars, landmarks, and generations of knowledge, guiding massive camel caravans laden with goods. These camels, often called the ships of the desert, were the super haulers of their day, capable of carrying heavy loads and traveling for weeks with minimal water. A single caravan could consist of thousands of camels, a moving city of merchants, guards, and guides. The journey was perilous, a grueling trek that could take months, facing scorching heat, sandstorms, and the constant threat of raids. Yet, the rewards were immense. The caravans from the north brought salt, a commodity so valuable in the salt-starved South that it was often traded for its weight in gold. They also brought cloth, copper, horses, and books, turning the trade into a vibrant exchange of not just goods, but also culture and ideas. At the crossroads of these routes, magnificent cities rose from the sand. Cities like Djenné and Timbuktu weren't just dusty outposts. They were bustling cosmopolitan centers of commerce and scholarship. Picture this: a marketplace in Timbuktu, overflowing with merchants haggling in a dozen different languages. You'd see gold dust being weighed meticulously against salt slabs, luxurious textiles from North Africa being displayed next to ivory and kola nuts from the south. These cities became melting pots where traders, scholars, and artisans from across the known world gathered. Timbuktu, in particular, became a legendary center of learning, its universities and libraries holding hundreds of thousands of manuscripts on subjects ranging from astronomy to law. The wealth generated by the gold trade directly funded this golden age of intellectualism. The story of the gold trade is also the story of great African empires. The Ghana Empire, the first of the great West African states, was known to Europeans as the Land of Gold. Its rulers controlled the trade routes, taxing every pound of gold and salt that passed through their territory. This taxation system was the foundation of their immense power and wealth. They didn't control the gold mines themselves, but by controlling the trade, they became incredibly rich. Following Ghana came the Mali Empire, and with it the most famous figure of the gold trade, Mansa Musa. His pilgrimage to Mecca in 1324 is the stuff of legend. He traveled with a procession so vast and so laden with gold that it's almost impossible to imagine. Reports say he brought tens of thousands of people and dozens of camels, each carrying hundreds of pounds of pure gold. He gave away so much gold in cities like Cairo that he reportedly destabilized the local economy for over a decade. This single journey put Mali and West Africa firmly on the medieval world map. European cartographers began drawing Mansa Musa on their maps, holding a golden nugget, forever cementing the link between Africa and incredible wealth. After Mali, the Songhai Empire rose to prominence, continuing to control the vital trade arteries. The rulers of Songhai, like Askia the Great, also understood that power came not just from controlling gold, but from controlling the flow of goods, knowledge, and culture that traveled with it. They expanded the empire, secured the trade routes, and further solidified the status of cities like Timbuktu and Gao as epicenters of global exchange. So what happened to these sprawling trade routes? Several factors led to their gradual decline. In the 15th century, Portuguese explorers began sailing down the coast of West Africa. They were looking for a sea route to the Indies, but they found something just as valuable: a direct route to the gold fields. By establishing trading posts along the coast, they could bypass the long and difficult trans-Saharan journey altogether. This maritime trade slowly but surely diverted the flow of gold from the desert caravans to European ships. This shift in trade dynamics weakened the power of the interior empires and the desert cities that depended on the old routes. The trans-Saharan trade didn't vanish overnight, but its golden age had passed. The legacy of these ancient trade routes is profound. They weren't just about gold. They were conduits for the spread of Islam into West Africa, which brought with it literacy, law, and a connection to the wider Islamic world. They fostered the growth of powerful, sophisticated empires and built legendary cities of learning. They connected Africa to Europe and the Middle East in a complex web of economic and cultural interdependence centuries before the colonial era. Unearthing these roots reveals a history not of an isolated continent, but of a dynamic, interconnected Africa that was a central player on the world stage for a very, very long time. The gold may have been the lure, but the real treasure was the civilization it built. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back in time. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into forgotten history. Let me know in the comments what piece of history you'd like us to explore next. See you in the next video.